I you saw the title. You know what I saw. I don't even have to say it, but I have to say it just intro. 50 Shades of Grey. I can't talk about this movie without first talking about the experience going into the movie. So I originally planned to catch a 3:30 showing and then catch another showing for Kingsman to help wash away the gray from my soul, as I actually put it on a Facebook post. Actually didn't end up seeing Kingsman. I had planned to see it again with Mark and Sam, who hadn't seen it, but they couldn't make it due to the weather, and I think some plans fell through. So I just ended up going home instead. Probably for best for the wise and stuff like that. But she gave me a little Facebook message there. But so I go into the movie. So I actually have to go see like an XD screening because I still wasn't sure at this point they were joining me for Kingsman later in the day. So I had to try to plan around that. So I go into the XD screening because that's the only showing I could make that will fit into that. So that cost me an extra $3, which I'm like, fuck. But at least I get to sit in the nice theater. I mean, for any of those of you who don't live in Massachusetts or like have an XD theater attached to your Cinemark or anything like that, it basically what we have the normal Cinemark theater, which has the normal seating, which is it's fine. It's standard seating. It's not horrible. It's not great, but it's fine. Then they about 3 years ago, I want to say, yeah, it's been about 3 years now. Actually, maybe two, yeah, three. So it's been about 3 years since they've done this. They actually added on like 3 separate theaters, 2 of which are like actual digital screening theaters with far nicer seating in it, and then one is an XD theater, which is about the closest we get to IMAX in this area. Because I don't know of any other IMAX theaters or anything like that in this area at all. If I did, trust me, I'd be going to IMAX for some of the showings I go to. Interstellar on IMAX, my God, as much as I had some problems with that movie would have been amazing in IMAX. But I digress. So I'm like, okay, well at least I get to sit in a nice theater because it has the same seating. It's much bigger. It's huge, so it's night wide screen. I go in there and I'm like, I realize the time, like, fuck, I'm like 5 minutes late. But fortunately, they have like all those like weekly throwback Cinemarks things and stuff like that. So I go in and I realize that okay, maybe it won't be that bad until the moment I turned the corner, saw how many people in there. I'm like, I forgot this is a fucking like pop phenomenon, like say the Hunger Games or the Harry Potter series was. This fucking theater was packed. I literally was forced to sit in the second row at the very left-hand side, the last seat on the left, which is my flubbed title for a horror movie, Last Seat on the Left. So that's my experience. I'm craning my neck a little bit. Fortunately, these seats actually recline, so I can recline. And the crowd I was with, I think, actually got the joke of the movie a little bit because they were, some of them anyway, some of them started trying to clap and applaud at the very beginning when the movie was starting, but the crowd at Wayhaven wasn't having any of that. No one started applauding with these people. So I actually applauded. Quite a few people actually applauded at the end, not the whole theater, but applauded at the end of the movie when it ended. But they were laughing at the same time, so it's like they got the fact that this was not very good. And yeah, so now I got that out of the way. This movie was not very good, but for a movie based off a book that is nothing more than Twilight fanfiction porn for middle-aged housewives, and supposedly extremely raunchy. And I've read some of the excerpts. I've heard some of the stuff about this movie or book. It is weird and it raunchy and very much so. This movie was actually very tame and kind of boring a little bit. Not to say that, believe it or not, though, not to say there aren't some parts I didn't actually like about. I did like about the movie. There were actually some parts I liked about the movie. Because here's the thing, I did not read the book. Shocking. I did not read the book, but I had heard enough about the book to know a lot about the book. Know the pretense, know the plot, how it ended, and all that stuff. But like that, about 5. But right when the whole advertisement saying turn off your cell phones and silence your cell phones came out, actually I had to take a moment to be like, okay, deep breath. Take everything you know about this movie out of the way, minus a few things that obviously we're going to just stick in my mind. and just judge this as a movie. Judge it as a movie, not based off a book or anything like that. But like, because I didn't read the Hunger Games, I read the Harry Potter books, like except for the last two. I just didn't get around to those. So that being said, I only saw like I think the first two in theaters anyway. But still, regardless, I very rarely ever read a book and then see a movie. In fact, if anything, a movie usually actually makes me want to read the book. I didn't read the first Harry Potter until I actually saw the first movie and then read the book. So actually, that was different. That was actually how a lot of my experiences go with these things. So I never read the book 50 Shades of Grey. I basically I judged it as a movie, and as a movie, it's not good, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse. It really could have. Almost 6 minutes in, I barely talked about the movie so far. So the movie is what you know. I have the IMDb page so I can remember the names. Anastasia Steele, which sounds like a horribly done porn name, is a sexually repressed woman, very kind of. In the book I've heard she's described as kind of frumpy and klutzy and all that stuff, and awkward and kind of not the brightest bulb. Yeah. I'll actually talk about that in just a moment. And then obviously she goes to this interview, Christian Grey and 50 Shades of Grey, and they have it's a relationship of some kind. It's not a romance per se. Even though I'll talk about that later, because this is full-blown spoilers. Kingsman I loved, so I didn't want to spoil it that much. And even with movies like Godzilla or stuff like that, we do spoiler reviews. I just loved Kingsman so much, I didn't want to spoil it for anyone who wanted to see it. But with this, I'm spoiling everything because I don't care about this movie as much, anywhere near as much. So Anastasia Steele, played by Dakota Johnson, goes to interview Christian Grey, played by Jamie Dornan, and yeah, all the shit you've heard about happens basically, minus the infamous tampon scene that was taken out for good measure. Which I'm not going to bother going into that. If you want to look that up, by all means, look that up. It's actually quite. It's actually an applaud towards the movie for having the good taste to not go that route. Because actually, honestly, how do I want to start this? I'll actually talk about the things I liked, because I actually liked a couple things about this movie. First and foremost, actually, the Dakota Johnson character, Anastasia Steele, from what I hear, compared to her counterpart in the book, from what I've heard of her counterpart in the book, she's actually a really likable character. She is, actually, and I was kind of really surprised by that. She actually doesn't take crap from Grey that much. She's very, she is actually a very independent woman in her own way. She's sexually experienced and kind of naive to a little bit of the world, but when he's being difficult and not, trying to help her understand, like he's not explaining stuff to her, she doesn't play that game, at least not fully. She does do the cat and mouse thing a bit, but she does not play that game with him. She actually stands up and is like, nope, I want to go home. Well, you should. Nope, you're not going to tell me shit. I'm going to go home. I applaud. See, this is actually what she's not like a full-blown, strong, independent woman character, female character, in terms of the whole 9 yards of independent female characters. Like, she's no Laura Croft. She's no, Scarlett Johansson from the. I'm trying to think of a better interpretation. She's no Sigourney Weaver or anything like that from Alien. Ripley. She's no Ripley, because Ripley from Aliens is one of those quintessential strong female leads. She's not that level, but she stands up for herself. She does not actually. There's scenes where she gets flogged and hit by a belt as punishment, but she does that to try to understand him, and then she doesn't deal with that anymore. And you know what? She knows what she wanted. Well, she didn't know what she wanted, but she came to realize what partly she wanted, who this man is, and knowing when to draw the line, knowing what to take him for. And you know what? That is cool. Plus, she has some generally funny lines in the movie. I heard one person talk about she's kind of acting like this is a comedy. And yeah, you could actually see this being played up the way she's portraying it as a comedy. And that's really funny. She has a few good like when he visits her, which that was creepy. She just randomly appeared like a fuck. I'll talk about him in a minute. I'll talk about him before I continue on because I have to talk to him immediately after talking about her. She just appears and he's like asking for stuff. It's like, okay, I need twist ties, masking tape, rope. Oh, so you doing a kitchen there? No. Saying, oh, well, you got everything for your serial killer kit. You don't want to ruin your clothes for your do-it-yourself. Or it's like, maybe I just won't wear clothes. And like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. She's like so uncomfortable, but it's actually pretty funny. She drunk dials him, and it's pretty funny how she's just plain drunk. She's got a good it's quite a few good lines. She's actually a pretty entertaining character. I'm not going to lie about it. I actually enjoyed her character and kind of the arc of where she comes from and where she ends up at the end of the movie. Well, yeah, a little bit of that. Now, that being said, for all good in the world, there's bad. And if she's the good lead, Dorian is the bad. Christian Grey, oh my god, this guy sucks. I'm sorry, I'm sure, you know what, I'm actually just going to take a quick look to see what else Jamie Dorian's been in while I'm talking about this, but, okay, Jamie Dorian, I'll give him this. I'm not going to fault him for this. He's a very good-looking man. He is a very pretty man, and this guy has not had a big film history. This guy came on the scene in 2006, Marie Antoinette, Beyond the Rave, it's videos, Shadows on the Sun. This guy's had 11, 10 things he's been in, and most of them are just either shorts, TV series, or this movie. And he's got 2 things in production. He's only been in like 10 things to date. I'm sure maybe he's better in those things, because this guy sucked. Okay, I'll take that back. He had 2 scenes where I thought his acting was actually pretty decent. Their first meeting, where she goes to interview him. I thought their repertoire in that was pretty good. And then the scene where they're basically going over the submissive dominant contract as a business meeting scene, and that's played off very comedically. That was actually a pretty funny scene. But this guy never drops or goes above that awkward of, oh hi, yeah, that's what's going on. Why are you doing this to me? Why? Fucking put some anger in your. I don't know if that's how he's portrayed in the book, but this guy is just dead. He's not even deadpan. He's just. I use the term one note once in a while when I usually kind of mean like he's deadpan is what I kind of more mean when I say one note. This guy's one noted. This guy's not deadpan. He is one noted. He never changes his octave. Yeah, he's got that. He's got an intense look about him. His eyes just. But this guy just comes off as a fucking creeper, a fucking sexual sociopath. My God, this man has got issues. Oh God, besides the characters, I'll get to scenes and things in a moment, but this guy, he's got no charisma whatsoever. He delivers lines that are horrible because he's not inflecting on anything. And if it were like, I heard Charlie Hunnam was originally supposed to be Gray, and he's dropped out supposedly due to scheduling issues. But a friend of mine later said, and I actually did kind of agree with this might not be the real reason, but he basically said, no, that's not the reason he dropped out. He just wanted nothing to fucking do with this movie. And I don't blame him if that is the case. Because Charlie Hunnam's maybe not the greatest actor, but with Sons of Anarchy rolling out and him maybe trying an actual film career, the only thing I've seen him in lately is Pacific Rim. Let's be clear. Pacific Rim's strong point is not the acting. Even with Idris Elba or Charlie Day, the strongest point is not the acting. The strongest point is the visual effects and action sequences. But Charlie Hunnam as the lead, ditto. He was serviceable. He was fine. Charlie Hunnam had charisma. He inflected and changed his emotional tone in his voice. We got none of that from this guy. This guy was just straight on one road the whole time. He's got the cold, just intense stare. There's no warmth in this guy's eyes at all. no matter what, I'm, I'm flat trying to figure out the best way to really coincide it with everything. He's a sexual sociopath. He says he fucks, he does not have relationships. Yes, he's constantly doing romantic gestures, which is I'm not changing you, you're changing me. No, you're trying to fucking change her. And how is she changing you? How, because you're saying you don't usually do this stuff, yet you're doing it like it's second nature to you. So either you're lying or you have no fucking idea what you want in life, dude. So I didn't like that guy at all. Talk about the sex scenes, because might as well talk about the sex scenes. They are well done. They're well made. Actually, I'll be honest, you still get one, and I mean it's like a second. Like, he takes his pants, he's not wearing anything underneath, so you see his junk for literally a second, and then he goes to start plowing her from behind while she's tied to a bedpost. But yeah, the sex scenes, I mean, they're fine. They're actually well made. But for the book this is based off of, these seem really just tame. They're not like raunchy. They're not that slave submissive. I mean, they're slave submissive, but not in the term that they're supposed to be. There was only one moment where it was actually the slave dominant, actual role that it's actually portrayed of in real life, how actual submissive and dominant kind of works, where he basically not punishes her, because the punishment scene comes later where he flogs her with a belt so she can understand it. It comes where he's basically like, did you roll your eyes? It's like, what are you going to do? Did you roll? You know why I'm doing this? Because I rolled your eyes? And then he just spanks her, but she enjoys it. Kind of. That is actually more along the lines of what actually sub and dominant actually is, as opposed to fucking sadomasochistic shit where you're beating someone with a goddamn belt. Just the whole idea of this movie just doesn't work, because the concept of submissive and dominant is not portrayed accurately in this movie whatsoever, because he's a fucked up individual, and because he fucking delivers the line that if it handled in someone else could have been actually tongue-in-cheek funny, but in his hands it's just horrible. The whole, why won't you tell me? Why won't you tell me? Because I am 50 shades of fucked up. And I'm just sitting there like, oh God, I just sat through that line. Oh man. It was bad. A lot of this dialogue is, most of her lines are actually fairly decent, because like I said, she's actually one of the highlights of this film. But most of the dialogue is shit in this movie. It really is. Like, you're talking about when they're about to have sex for the first time. He's talking, there's like, well, whenever you've had sex, what'd you like and dislike? Well, it's hard to say, what do you mean? It's like, well, I've never, you a virgin? And then he just grabs her face, where have you been all my, well, he doesn't say been all my life, but it's like, where have you been? He should have basically just said, where have you been all my life? That's basically what he should have said, because that's basically what he was saying. And I'm like, oh my God, the fucking, this couldn't be cheesier if it were Gouda. Except it's bad cheese. It's French cheese. Ooh, man. And it just, plot points that don't go anywhere. Like, she has this friend who's named Jose, who, actually, one second if I can find this guy, the actor who played him, because I feel like this is there he is, Victor Rasuk, who gets mentioned later on in the film, basically, but he shows up for 2 fucking scenes. He's basically the friend-zoned friend who likes her and tries to make a move on her. And I'm watching this like, okay, wow, you are such a tool right now. And then she's drunk, he hands her a coat while Gray's coming to get her, which he found her by tracing her phone. There's no other way to say it. She calls them, is like, where are you? I'm going to pick you up. Because he's like, basically tells her, what, you shouldn't be drinking. He's like, fuck you, dude. She just graduated or celebrated her exams. Let her fucking, she's a college student. He's a control freak. My God. Yeah, he exercises control and everything. You're a fucking asshole. No, he goes up, gives her a jacket to keep her warm, and then he holds her, he's like, let me keep you warm. He's like, I like you. It's like, just let me kiss you. She's drunk. You can tell she's drunk, and you're trying to go for a kiss. Fuck that. You were a douchebag. You were a douchebag. Not quite as big of a douchebag as Gray. Actually, you know what? Dude, Gray's not even that big of a douchebag. Gray didn't take advantage of her. He was actually, I'll at least give his character credit for this. He never took advantage of her. He laid down what this was going to be, told her what it was going to be, and, even respected her when she kind of stayed away, and he stayed away for a while. Granted, he went creepier levels later on, like just appearing randomly in Savannah, Georgia, when she's supposed to be all the way in Seattle, fucking Washington. And I get it, 50 Shades of Grey, Washington. It's never fucking sunny. It's always raining. Ha. But no, yeah, Jose. I'm like, Jose reminds me of me with someone I know who at one point or another, okay, someone I'm interested in reminds me of someone I know. It reminds me of me. But the difference is, I'm not going to fucking take advantage of someone who's intoxicated and drunk. I'll be honest, I don't have the balls to basically kind of try to go for what I want right now in my life, because I just don't want to deal with the aggravation and some of the heartache and shit like that, because I've dealt with that in life and it sucks ass. So right now I'm not in a place in my life to be doing that shit and going out and trying to meet people. It's just not in me right now. So in that sense, I don't agree with this guy at all. I'm totally friends with people and stuff like that. I can do that, but going out to try to meet someone and try to establish something, it's really fucking hard for me to do right now in my life. So, in a sense, I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, he's an asshole for trying to take advantage of a drunk girl. And I'm sorry, I just gave you a little insight into my life, and I actually didn't mean to do that. But it's Valentine's Day, or post-Valentine's Day at this point, so happy Valentine's Day! I am single and alone. And I sat through 50 Shades of Grey, technically alone, but technically with a room full of not even middle-aged housewives. Lots of couples, because it's Valentine's fucking Day. So, yeah. I didn't like that guy. I did like the Gray's chauffeur. Gray's chauffeur was Hercules Hansen. I can't remember the actor. Hold on. What was his name? Fucking Taylor. Max Martini? Is it Max Martini? Please tell me it's Max Martini. I want to make sure I got this guy right. Is it Taylor? Please tell me it's Taylor. Yes, it's Taylor. Max Martini, who played Hercules Hansen in Pacific Rim. So if Charlie Hunnam had been in this movie, it would have been a Pacific Rim reunion from both of them, and I would love that. He was barely on screen, but I'm just like, anytime I saw him, because I realized who he was, I'm like, awesome! I love that guy! That guy was awesome! He barely has a line, but he's fine for what he does, and I liked it. I enjoyed seeing him, so there's that. But this dialogue's crap. This plot is just horrible. When your movie is based off Twilight fan fiction, there is something wrong. There is something very, very wrong with the world. And of course, the ending. Anyone who knows the book knows the ending, and anyone who's seen the movies knows the ending. But if you haven't watched the movie but want to know the ending, she basically walks out on him, and he's going out. He's like, basically try to pin her because he can't leave her because, like, he says, I'm incapable of leaving you alone. So, like a creeper stalker. So he goes to run after her again, basically try to probably pin her to the fucking elevator again and make out and just take her in the elevator. But she yells stop, and then she yells stop, and he stops. And it ends with the line where they left on the first time they met, where it's like, Anastasia, Christian, and then the elevator's closing. Scene. 2 more movies to come. I knew enough about this book going in. I know nothing about the other 2 books, and I hear those books are actually complete and utter crap, even in comparison to the first one, which is crap. Matter of opinion, obviously. If you like the book, God bless you, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to hate you for it. My mother read the book, which means she read the infamous tampon scene. And I even told her that, I was like, yeah, that means you read the tampon scene. And she goes, yeah. And it's like, oh, God. And she says, oh, it was some light reading. And I borrowed it from a friend. It was light reading. I'm like, really? Okay. So, yeah. We'll say this. When she walked in, the only thing I can think of in the scene as she walked through was, oh my God, is that a Rorschach painting? If so, I'm seeing a panda. Oh no, it's a panda and a Rorschach painting all in the same canvas. That's cool. I want the Panda Rorschach painting. I want it on my wall. That'd be awesome. Everyone could just see it's like, is that for 50 Shades of Grey? It's like, fuck, I need to get a new painting. I swear to God, that if I got that painting and that's what people were saying, then yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I have to get a new painting. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on 50 Shades of... I mean, I can't even say 50 Shades of shit, because it's actually the soundtrack. I forgot to mention the soundtrack. The soundtrack was really good. There were some good covers in there. There was some Dean Martin in there, Frank Sinatra. There was a good cover of Put a Spell on You in there. There was obviously the Beyonce Knowles cover of Got Me Right Now. But yeah, I actually dug the soundtrack in this movie a lot. It was a pretty decent soundtrack. So that's my final thoughts. I can't even call could have made the joke 50 Shades of shit, but I can't even say that. It wasn't terrible. It just was not good. If I were to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 4. If you're curious about seeing it, enter. It's not even abandon all hope, ye who enter. There's some redeemable things in the movie, just not to save the movie from giving a below average rating, in my opinion. So yeah, I'd give it about a 4. If you want to see it, Godspeed to you. Go ahead. I would not recommend against it, but it is a middle-aged housewife movie. It's for the demographic it was designed for, and it's a date movie. There was a lot of fucking couples there, and they actually enjoyed themselves because they were a lot of them were laughing when they got out. Though a lot of it was actually girls and not just couples. So, yeah. I only got 2 new trailers, and do I have my pad on me? Hold on. Do I have my sticky notepad? Please tell me I have my sticky notepad. Crap, I don't have my sticky notepad. I think I can remember it though. So I remember exactly which ones I got. I got another trailer for Pitch Perfect 2. I'll be honest, I didn't watch this first one in theaters, but I did watch it on TV, and it's actually pretty fun. See, that's where I like a musical. When it's actually, the song is purposely supposed to be in the movie, like a cappella singing. They're facing off in a cappella. And, hearing different versions of songs in a cappella form is actually quite interesting to hear. And it's actually quite nice. They all got great voices. Rebel Wilson looks like she's going to be funny again. That trailer opened up with her basically giving a upside down crotch flash to the president of something or other. I'm not sure if it was the president of the United States. I don't think so. But president of the music community or something like that. The acapella community. And Anna Kendrick has proven she's not only just a talented actress, she's a talented actress, she can be funny, she can be dramatic, she's a fantastic singer, beautiful woman all around. Anna Kendrick's got talent. And, it's the story, they got to fight the German team. It's just like, they got to go, the Germans try to intimidate them and they try to intimidate back. So it's just like, does your accent get deeper and deeper? Is that like an intimidation tactic or something like that? Because I got just 2 words for you, or 3. I just got one thing to say to you: World War II, bitches. He's like, yeah, your intimidation tactic didn't work, dude. So yeah, and Pitch Perfect 2. Everyone I got was the movie Amy Adams. Amy Schumer. Now, for some of you who don't know who Amy Schumer is, she's a comedian. She often appears in the roast on Comedy Central, and you can see her stand-up special sometimes on Comedy Central. Very funny, very raunchy. She often talks about her sex life and stuff like that. How much of it is true, God knows how much of that is true. But she's actually not a bad-looking woman either. She's not like drop dead gorgeous, but she's a decent-looking woman all around. Yeah. Honestly, I'd say I'd do her too. Why not? But she's a movie called Trainwreck, where essentially she's playing herself, a woman who does not understand or believe or understand the concept of monogamy, thanks to her father, and goes to one-night stands. But then she meets a guy, stays over at his house, which is against her rules, and is now dealing with the fact that she might be in a relationship of some kind, sort of. I mean, there's a scene at the end of the trailer where he calls her up. He's like, I think you butt dialed me. No, I used my fingers, just saying, he called me on purpose. I want to say, if you want to hang out, oh God, he wants to hang out with you. I'm calling the cops right now. Yeah, no, normal people do that, folks. You can, hang out with someone you've had sex with after you've had sex with them. It's fine. So, yeah, it doesn't look bad. I give it a watch. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put it in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review at some point or do our utmost best to get to it. As I said, I'm not going to be catching a movie this week just because funds are a little tight and I'm going to be back on set for the movie this coming weekend. So I'm not going to be able to do that. But I will have a review up. I'm just not going to tell you what that review is. That's going to be a surprise for later on. Also, you'll notice there's no movie news this week. Not to say there's not movie news, but I just didn't really have anything to talk about this. I mean, stuff happened, but just not anything I can really go into express detail about. So there actually will be no movie news this week just because shit happens sometimes, folks. I don't intend for it to happen, but it does. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.